All right, we're diving right into some pretty urgent warnings about artificial intelligence. And here's the thing, they're not coming from critics on the sidelines. They're coming from the very people who are building this technology. So, let's get into it.
We're going to start with this quote from Ilya Sutskever, co-founder of OpenAI. He makes this really powerful point. He says, AI is like politics. You might think you're not interested in it, but it is definitely interested in you. It's not some niche tech thing you can just choose to ignore. It is going to be a force in our lives, period.
And look, we're not just talking about the next software update or some new app. Sutskever is basically saying we are living in, and this is a direct quote, the most unusual time ever. And why? All because of AI.
Think about the AI we have right now. Yeah, it's pretty impressive, right? It can hold a conversation, it can write code, but Sutskever says that's nothing. Like literally child's play compared to what's on the horizon. He's talking about a future that's so radical, so extreme, that it's actually hard for our brains to really truly process what that's even going to feel like.
So he asked this huge question. What actually happens when computers can do all of our jobs? And he doesn't just mean automating simple tasks. He means everything. The logic here is kind of simple if a little unsettling. Our brain is just a biological computer. So what's to stop a digital computer from doing everything it can do?
Okay. So Sutskever lays out this big, almost philosophical warning. But now let's bring in former Google CEO Eric Schmidt. He takes all this abstract stuff and slams it down onto a timeline. And trust me, it is a lot sooner than you might think.
And here it is. This is the timeline we're talking about. He says, this is the consensus in the industry. It's basically the ticking clock for the whole AI revolution.
I mean, just look at how specific he gets. He's saying that within the next year, just 1 year, the very foundations of our digital world, programming and high-level math, are going to be completely transformed. We're talking about AIs that can code and solve problems on par with the absolute best humans in those fields.
So you're probably asking, how on earth can this happen so fast? Well, the key word is recursive self-improvement. Think of it like this. An AI learns to write code. Then it uses that new skill to improve its own code, which makes it smarter. Then that smarter version does the same thing, but better and faster. It just creates this insane, explosive feedback loop.
In this whole process, this rapid self-improvement, it's all building towards one thing, the next massive milestone, which is artificial general intelligence. You've probably heard it called AGI.
So what is AGI, really? Simply put, it's an AI that's as smart as the smartest person you can possibly imagine. A physicist, an artist, a brilliant strategist, all rolled into one. And according to what Schmidt calls the San Francisco consensus, we're looking at a timeline of just 3 to 5 years. That is wild.
Just take a second and really try to picture that. What would your life be like if you had a super genius in your pocket 24/7? Need to design a building? Done. Need to craft a killer business plan? No problem. Want to solve some massive scientific puzzle? You've got the smartest consultant in history ready to help.
The technology that makes this happen is called agents. And no, we are not just talking about a smarter chatbot. An agent is an AI that doesn't just give you an answer, it takes action. It can carry out complex, multi-step jobs for you out in the real world. Because it has memory, it learns, and it can actually do stuff.
This example of building a house really makes it click. Schmidt lays it out perfectly. The agent doesn't just spit out some blueprints. No, it finds the land, it figures out all the legal red tape, it actually buys the property, designs the house, then it hires the contractor, pays the bills, and, get this, it could even sue the contractor if they mess up. It manages the whole shebang, from start to finish.
But hold on, because AGI, as mind-bending as that is, isn't the end of the road. Not even close. The next step is a leap into something so far beyond us, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. It's called artificial superintelligence, or ASI.
And this right here shows you just how massive that leap is. AGI is as smart as the smartest human. ASI is smarter than all of humanity combined. Every thought, every idea, every genius throughout history, all rolled into one and then amplified. It's just a completely different scale of being.
So that's ASI. It's the point where computers become so vastly intelligent they just don't need our input anymore. They can set their own goals, make their own plans, and take their own actions. And this is the moment where, theoretically, they might not have to listen to us anymore. It's a heavy thought.
And the timeline for this? According to that same Silicon Valley consensus, just 6 years. 6. I mean, that is a breathtakingly short amount of time for something so monumental.
And this is really Schmidt's core warning. He's saying society is just not ready for this. Our laws, our democracies, our entire way of life, they all move at a snail's pace compared to this technology. He basically thinks people aren't freaking out enough. He says this isn't overhyped, it's profoundly underhyped.
So, okay. We've heard this incredible, maybe even terrifying timeline from the very architects of our future. So what do we do? What's our role in all this? The question really comes back to us.
And this is where we come back to Ilya Sutskever. He doesn't frame this as, just doom and gloom. He actually sees it as humanity's greatest challenge, ever. The ultimate test for our species. And he believes that if we can get it right, the reward will be just as great.
Look, the path these insiders are laying out, it feels less like a possibility and more like an inevitability. The big takeaway here isn't to panic, but to just pay attention, really pay attention, because all this abstract stuff we've been talking about today, it's about to get very, very real, very, very fast. And the choices we all make, starting right now, are going to define everything that comes next.